So I was at work the other day, and just so you know, I'm a contractor, air conditioning repairman, to put it in blunt terms. I've been in the trade for over 30 years now. I've had my own business for 22 years now. And when people see me in my professional setting that don't know me, they wonder, like, what's this guy doing? He's not dressed like a blue-collar worker, yet he's carrying tools and doing stuff like that. And I very much consider myself a technician. And I'll get back to that in a minute. So I was working in this building, and there was a janitor, young janitor there. And after observing me for several hours, climbing up ladders, going up on the roof, doing all kinds of stuff, I was finishing up outside, and he came out and he said, "Hey, do you mind if I ask you what you do for a living?" And I told him, explained to him what I did, and then he had to stop. And I get this often from people. He asked me, how did I get into the trade? And I explained to him really quickly how I got into the trade, and he asked for some advice, like, how can I get into it? And I stopped and I said, well, you could do blah 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 blah. But I said to him, here's one bit of advice has nothing to do with getting specifically into the trade. And I said to him, what you need to do is learn one topic and be an expert on it, or learn as much as you can about that topic. The kid probably was absolutely confused by that statement, but this is what I meant by it, and this is what I tried to explain to him, is that at my age of almost 52, what I've learned after observing a lot of high achievers, and I consider myself one now, is that everyone that I've observed that has had long-lasting success in life, and not success in a financial way, but in just having a well-rounded, great life, one of the key denominators of these people has been that they have the ability to learn one topic and become an expert on it. And in my case, I had been doing that all my life. I just didn't realize what I was doing. I had interests, and what I did with those interests, I followed up and tried to learn as much as I could with them. And the analogy, for whatever reason, pops into my head when I try to explain this concept to people, is that when you're a kid, learn about baseball cards. Why baseball cards? Just because it's something that kids did when I was my age. And by that ability of learning everything you can about baseball cards, hang on a second. By that ability of learning everything about baseball cards, but in my case, actually what it was comic books. I loved comic books and learned everything I could about comic books that interested me. And eventually I was an encyclopedia on comic books. I could tell you the exact price of a specific issue of a specific comic. And in fact, I parlayed that into working in a comic book store, which is to this day one of my favorite jobs. And I ended up running the joint at 18 years old or something like that. Anyway, but it's that ability to learn a skill or learn a topic that gives you the confidence that you can, knowing how to learn about something, the process of researching, the process of assimilating that knowledge, disseminating all this information, and becoming knowledgeable in something is something that you don't hear about. Sure, we go to school and we learn about a range of topics. We can become a jack of no trades, really. And we just learn about a little bit of just a bunch of crap, and that doesn't really add up to anything. And that process, whatever it is, scatterbrain process, never follows through where you really learn how to become an expert on something. It's not until you go to get a master's 6 years into college that you actually become a master at something. That's ridiculous. So if you learn how to be an expert in something when you're 7 years old, that just gives you an advantage. So back to my trade, I became an expert in my trade, and knowing absolutely nothing about my trade when I started. I literally started from the ground up. And because of that ability of all the stuff I learned about comic books and whatever, blah, blah, BMX, whatever, blah, 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 I quickly became the guy to fix my very large company that I worked for fixed their problems. The dispatchers would call me the ringer. When they had a problem that no one could solve, they sent in Will Wong, and I was more valued for my eyes and my ears than my back or my hands, because I could walk into any situation and fix it. Or I could walk into any situation, know what the problem was, and know how to fix it, then go about fixing it. And that's why when people see me now in a professional setting, well, not professional setting, but when I'm working for myself, they wonder, like, well, who's this guy? Because, like, he doesn't get dirty. He doesn't, like, seem to have a care in the world, and he's always happy. It's because I'm an expert at what I do. And I go into situations where I'm not worried about, well, can I fix this or whatever. I know I can fix it. And it's that confidence that I took from learning the AC trade that I went back into bike racing. Well, started bike racing, and eventually people started to see me, and like, they would ask me all kinds of questions about bike racing, and they were bike racers themselves, and that's followed me for the rest of my life now until I'm 52. And and with workout and everything else, I've become, fitness and American Ninja Warrior, cycling, it's this building a process of learning something and becoming an expert on something that's been the absolute foundation, the commonality for everything in my life. And people they ask me, like, how'd you learn how to do that? Well, it's like, well, I just took the time to learn this. And of course, a lot of stuff I learned was way before the internet. And, I think the internet is the greatest thing we've ever invented as a species. And it's because of that massive database of knowledge that anyone can tap into. There's no excuse. And so, to go back to it, I think the absolute skill you must learn and master is to become a master at one topic. Learn as much as you can about that one topic, because that confidence and that process, like I said, will give you an advantage over a lot of people. Because we have people that it confounds me that have absolutely no interest in life, or at least it seems from the outside. And they don't really have any natural curiosity. And that's a natural curiosity, actually, that helps you learn that skill or that topic that you want to become a master on. Anyway, that's the end of me ranting in several parts. Thanks for watching.